Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about how I used my Holland code, which mine is ASI, to build and then begin to narrow down my occupations roster. So you're going to go to this page and you can see up here. And what I recommend is that you do 2 letters at a time. So in this case I'm going to start with A and then I'll go to S, which is my secondary code. And I'll hit go. And here you're basically going to see, okay, which of these at all grabs my interest? And right now, go wild. Seriously, pick anything that sounds good to you. And start entering them in just onto a list. And so in this case, the ones that I think are interesting so far, you can kind of see what I've clicked on. I'm going to pull childcare worker. I've done that before. I really like it. I'm going to pull interpreters. I speak ASL. I think that might be interesting. Rolling down the list, I see sociologist. Sure, that sounds like fun. Clinical psychologist. Yeah, pull that. Clinical and counseling. All this stuff is something that I might well like. And again, right now, there's an element of like, let's build it up as much as possible. If this interests you, go for it, because we're going to narrow it down later. So I might go back up here and then look at like investigative and social. What are the combinations for those? And you see, okay, a lot of these are going to be showing up again, clinical psychologist. But then like epidemiologist, sounds cool. Maybe surgeon, maybe a home ec teacher, who knows, low vision therapist, awesome. Like I guess all of this is going to fit well. And so keeping that in mind, what I'm going to do is we're going to fast forward a little bit and we're going to find my occupations roster. And so because of who I am, I've organized it by code. So you see the ones I pulled from AS are here, the one I pulled from SI are here, and all the way down to this. And I also included a couple more just to say I did. And so the question becomes, okay, well, what do these results, when we've talked about our interest inventory from ONET or our basic interest survey, like what do those mean for us? And so I've identified in my last video, social is like my end all be all. I must have that in a job to be happy. If I don't have it, then I'm gonna be unhappy. And so the next question becomes, okay, well, I've pulled together all these occupations and they all sound cool from what I know about them, but what do people in these professions actually do? Like, what is the day-to-day life of a cosmetologist? What do sociologists do on a reg? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up here, and I'm going to go to the BLS.gov. So this is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And what I'm going to do is essentially search this person. Okay, let's go with interpreter translator. So what I'm going to do is go up here and I'm going to Google interpreter. And so what it's going to do is it's going to pull up the everyday life of an interpreter. This is the kind of things that they do. So it also includes a lot of information about how much money they make, what their job outlook is like. This is very important information, but I encourage you to skip it for now and really just go down to, we're going to stick with what sounds interesting, what would I enjoy. So I start looking at, okay, what do? They translate information from one language into another. They might work in sign language. That might be what might fit best for me. This is where they work. I start looking at, okay, schools, conference centers, meeting rooms. Okay, that sounds fun. Some might work remotely. That might not fit as well. Since we've said I'm like a super social person, probably being at home might not be the best idea. They tend to work full-time during regular business hours. If that's something you're not super interested in, a job that has you on call every day, that's important to keep in mind. And so you can do all sorts of stuff with this. And if you click on this, it's going to give you even more information. And as you read through it, you can kind of get a much more concrete idea of, is this something that I would enjoy? Is this something that sounds fun? Is this something that I think I could do? And if the answer is yes, then we keep it on the list. And if it's not, then we don't. And so I'm going to actually show you an example of that too. So if I'm going to look at, in this case, I'm going to look at career stories, which is another place that you can kind of look at what does the average day in the life of X person look like. So moving right along, we're going to go to, here it is. So we're going to find, I'm going to say like, it's literally like, what's it like to be an X? And so I have architect on here and I'm like, okay, well, what would it be like to be an architect? And so I'm going to pull that up. That's a software architect. But sure, residential architect, the kind of person that designs houses. And so we look at this and I say, okay, what do? You design houses. They might be new or they might be fixing them. What's the best part? What do they enjoy doing? They get to be creative. Okay, I like to be creative. That sounds ideal. But it's not as fun to try to think about all the expenses and like trying to run your own business. and it's not awesome to, sometimes interact with contractors. And so I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, well, maybe this isn't as great of a fit as I thought. I thought I would enjoy this, but maybe not. And so what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go over and just highlight this red and say, for now, this isn't a fit for me. I'm not going to get rid of it completely, but I'm going to start narrowing it down and saying, maybe that's not a great fit. And so that's something that you can do as you go through these, and really just start looking at, okay, which of these might be a good fit, looking at what they do. You can either do that, as I said, on the Bureau of Labor Statistics website. A lot of them have it there. You can go to City Town Info, and they can do a career story and kind of start piecing together, okay, does the day-to-day life of this person feel like a good fit? And the question becomes, could you see yourself doing this job? Is this something that you would enjoy?